It won't be like you're not a part of Facebook. You're not a part of Facebook.
My name's on the masthead.
You might want to check again.
Oh, if you already know the answers to your questions, then why ask?
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
I like the way you die, boy.
I don't want to be a product of my environment.
Now answer my question. Were you rushing or were you dragging?
My boy's awake at smile.
What is up, Film Fixation crew? We are back. My name's Jaron Allred. I'm joined here by my co-host Austin Hyatt. And today we have a very exciting episode. We are talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We're very excited about this one. We saw it Thursday night. We're recording this pod on Saturday night right now. Very, very fun experience. And we're going to get into it. We're going to dissect it, talk about it. So before we do that, let's talk about some film news. I'm going to hand it over to Austin for that. Austin, what do you got for us?
Okay, this is just kind of few and far between. Just stuff I saw on Instagram sent over to our account. So the first one that I saw was Martin Scorsese talked with the Pope and is going to write a new film about Jesus.
Oh, really?
Crazy.
Didn't he direct The Last Temptation of Christ?
He did, yeah. The one that stars Willem Dafoe. But I think that was already a book or something. Like he just adapted it. So
The
this will
Bible?
be his. Yeah, it was the Bible, I think. So this will be his first, written by him through and through his movie.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Hiccup and Astrid have been cast in the live action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon.
I
That's
saw
nothing
that.
huge, but
Yeah, what do you... That's Pixar. So
yeah.
another Disney remake.
I just I'm not too big on the remakes, especially something that good.
Yeah.
Like I really like How to Train Your Dragon, first one.
Yeah, how are you going to make a live action dragon like with the kindness of Hiccup, and the cuteness and it's just kind of
Yeah, unless they like copy and paste it, it's not gonna look.
it's just live action and Hiccup is the
Yeah.
they just reuse all the frames. I mean,
Right.
Disney does that with like Winnie the Pooh, Robin Hood, all those old ones.
Mhm.
Jungle Book. You look at those, a lot of the scenes are reused from movie to movie.
Yeah.
So
Very true.
could work for them.
And then this next one is kind of crazy. We can talk about this a little bit later too. IMDb to officially begin suppressing certain ratings to fight back against review bombing.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're
talk-
doing that because of The Little Mermaid.
I don't know if they explicitly said that, but it was announced right after The Little Mermaid came out.
Yeah.
So
I think that's ridiculous. What do you think?
here's the thing. I would rather have more accurate reviews of a movie. Like for example, Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
best Star Wars movie in my opinion, one of them,
Yeah.
has a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes
Mhm.
because people went and review bombed it to make it like Order 66.
Oh,
So you look at it at face value and it's like, oh, this movie sucks.
oh really?
And
The way
everybody
they
hates this.
so that's not what it was like back
No.
in like early
No.
2000s when it came out.
No, yeah.
Was it higher?
I think it was, yeah.
Oh,
Or
okay.
maybe from the jump it got to 66%. But anyway, things like that where people never really saw the movie or they don't really evaluate it for its value
Mhm.
and they just drop it for no reason. So then, years later, like imagine like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid
Yeah.
came out like 50 years ago. Imagine if that got review bombed
Okay. Yeah.
and I wanted to go watch it and it had like a 2 on Letterboxd or something, or
There's no
IMDb.
way.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it from that perspective. I thought that like The Little Mermaid, I think critics like it more than audiences,
Mhm.
and so maybe they see like a 1-star review, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, this is not actually how this person feels about The Little Mermaid because that movie was
Yeah.
perfect,
Yeah.
obviously, which we talked about how perfect it was.
Right.
Scuttlebutt,
Scuttlebutt.
probably
Sick.
song of the year, probably gonna win a Grammy.
Yeah.
So
It should. No, but yeah, if genuine reviews are being suppressed, I think that's horrible. That's totally ridiculous. That's not what the film's about. But things where they're bombing it for no reason, I get
Okay.
why. Like if they could come up with an algorithm, some like AI to weed those out, but keep the genuine reviews, I'm down for it. But
yeah,
how realistic is that? So yeah, it's a tricky situation. We'll see.
we'll see. Or we
Um,
won't see because it'll be suppressed.
That's true.
So So I mentioned Scuttlebutt from The Little Mermaid. My parents told me they heard that that's like known as probably the worst song ever in a Disney movie. I think it's obviously the worst song ever in a Disney movie. I think it could be the
Yeah.
worst song ever in any sort of media, like
Period.
any movie, musical, anything. Do you think?
Well, yeah, I can't think of anyone that's worse. That was like a throwaway song. Like we said, we don't even know how they made it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Aquafina, maybe she threatened to sue or something after
Yeah,
she recorded it. I don't know.
she's got that kind of power for sure.
Oh yeah.
But it was a Lin-Manuel Miranda song.
Oh,
So,
what?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not a big fan of him, anyways.
Exactly.
I'll
So
say it.
like maybe he wrote that, and everybody was like, "Well, we know it's bad, but we can't tell Lin-Manuel Miranda it's bad and keep it out of this movie."
Mm.
You know,
Okay.
they're afraid of him. So
His songs are all just so talk, sing. You know what I mean?
yeah, you can hear
Yeah.
the same elements throughout.
He's a bad singer too. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't he? What's the song that he sang in a Disney movie? I feel like he's voiced a character.
I couldn't tell you.
Moana.
On a lot of on the Moana soundtrack, he's seeing some of the demos that like made it through, and you can hear his voice.
Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Other news isn't crazy. Miles Morales and Spider-Man or Spider-Woman live action films are in early development with Sony.
That is big news.
That's pretty big news. It's just crazy how bad their live action is. So I kind of hope they drop that Miles Morales.
Sony's movies?
Yeah, like Venom and Morbius.
Morbius. Are you kidding?
Movie that made more $1 billion in the box office.
I'm waiting for the second one to be announced.
Yeah, well,
Morbin time?
Morbin time.
Yeah,
Well, it was announced. Jared Leto announced it.
I know.
You saw that.
Well, like, there's the script that he's reading.
Yeah.
He needs to sign on already.
Right.
Sign his contract, you know?
So yeah, I really like the Miles Morales character. I hope they don't butcher him, but they do so well in the video games and, as we'll talk about later, in the animated films. So maybe it'll be okay.
Well, I mean, it's all Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. Those are all Sony. And, well, I guess there's two of them. But the first one I like.
Yeah, me
And
too.
we'll talk about, we're going to talk today about our rankings of all the Spider
Yeah,
movies. So,
but
should
you're
be exciting.
even that you're saying like Andrew Garfield is an amazing actor.
yeah.
Emma Stone, amazing actress,
Mhm.
had all the right elements, and you're still saying I like one of them but not the other. That just shows how bad Sony's management is.
Yeah.
To
The
take-
second one,
Yeah.
Mark Webb directed it. I mean, he directed the first one too.
Yeah.
But I liked it when it came out. I really did. But
Right.
it was so comic booky, but like in the worst ways.
Yeah.
Not like the Sam Raimi ones, which are
Grounded.
grounded, but
Yeah.
also, comic book elements.
Right.
So
Yeah, I just don't trust Sony's live action.
we'll see who they hire to. If they hire the same like 3 directors from this movie, what do you think?
I don't know, because in their filmography, they're all like animated guys. Like one is the director of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. So I don't know if they would transfer.
Yeah, I don't want any tech guys
Yeah.
working on it.
Yeah, so
Stink
we'll
up
see.
the whole production.
But the final bit of news is Across the Spider-Verse. What we're going to be talking about today is currently the highest rated film ever on Letterboxd.
Yep.
So it had 4.7 on 45,000 reviews.
Mhm.
And I looked today and it's up to like 71,000 reviews. and
It's at
still
86 now. I just looked
86.
like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. And still at a 4.7.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I thought it would maybe go up too with more people seeing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway, it's great stuff. So we can hop right into that.
You know what the second most is? The second highest?
Second highest rated.
Yeah.
Parasite?
Come and see,
Come and see. Yeah.
which is a 4.6.
That's-
Parasite might be tied, but I think
I think Parasite must be 3 then. Like
Oh,
on
yeah.
Letterboxd's top
it's got to
250.
be. Because it used to be number 1.
Mhm.
But I think when I read that Spider-Verse was number 1, it said Come and See was number 2 at a 4.6, which I haven't seen. Have you?
No, I haven't, but it's on my watch list, of course.
I hear it's really disturbing. About
Yeah, all the
war.
reviews are like, this is
Yeah.
the worst thing I've ever seen. But I'm
I
glad
got to
it
be in the
exists.
mood to see the worst thing I've ever seen.
But it wouldn't be unrealistic for Across the Spider-Verse to stay up there. Like, I know that it's right after it came out, but
Yeah.
the first one, Into the Spider-Verse, is still at 16.
And that's at a 4.4.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
I can look right now.
I'm right. You don't have to look.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yep.
4.4 on how many ratings?
About 300,000.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds right.
What does it say?
Oh my gosh, I just clicked. Sorry, I'm not the tech guy.
It's
on 1.5 million ratings.
Okay. So just quadruple what I said.
Yeah, but you were right, more or less.
Yeah. I didn't have all the information, I guess.
Sure.
So yeah. Any other film news?
No, I mean,
That's it?
I'm sure there is more, but that's all I sent.
That's all up to now.
Yeah.
We're caught up. Okay, great. Let's get into it. Okay. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Let me read you the synopsis. Get you guys hype. Okay. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, is catapulted. Oh my hell, dude.
We'll cut.
Oh my gosh. No, don't cut it. Catapulated. Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
Okay. Listen, guys. I know how to read. Okay. Read stuff on this podcast before. So you know. Go look back.
Right.
I read these synopsises with no trouble most of the time.
Synopses. Just kidding. I'm not sure if that's right.
It's not. Synopsises. That's correct.
Yeah.
I just got nervous. I'm really excited for this podcast because I like this movie. So listen. The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, Miles Morales, is catapulted across the multiverse where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. But when the heroes clash on how to handle the new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders and must redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves most. Very exciting. I was about to quit the pod if I messed up another word. Synopsis.
I'm glad you didn't.
So yeah. Okay. It is directed by 3 different people. Joaquim Dos Santos, Justin K. Thompson, and Kemp Powers. Trifecta there. It is starring Shameik Moore, who plays Spider-Man, Haley Steinfeld, plays Gwen Stacy, Jake Johnson, who's Spider-Man. The rest of people are just Spider people, pretty much. Oscar Isaac, Issa Rae, Daniel Kaluuya, who plays Hobie,
Yeah.
the British Spider-Man, Spider-Punk. And Jason Schwartzman, he plays the Spot, who's the villain. And that's pretty much it. That's all I want to say. I don't want to read all these. Andy Samberg, he's in it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, as Ben Reilly, right?
Ben Reilly, yeah. So yeah, let me read the reviews for you guys. Sitting at a 95% Rotten Tomatoes critic score and a 96% audience score. On IGN, it's got an 8 out of 10, which is no, it's surprising. That's what I saw. IMDb, it's got a 9.1, and like we said before, Letterboxd 4.7, highest rated movie on Letterboxd of all time. So let's get into it. We saw it Thursday. We saw it with our friends Zach, Tristan, and Grace, and we saw it at AMC theaters. We are also A-list members.
Yeah,
AMC theaters, but they screwed me over because I paid full price for a popcorn when I'm supposed to be paying the medium price of a popcorn.
Yeah, listen here, AMC. We're big movie podcasters. We can really do some damage to your business, but you need to train up your employees because the movie we went to before, Ariel, what is that called? The Little Mermaid.
The Ariel, yeah.
Ariel featuring the Little Mermaids. Same thing happened to me. The guy didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And they have a priority lane in the line for AMC Stubbs A-list members.
That's what pisses me off.
There was a big old line. I'm in the A-list line, and they're like calling everybody who's in the normal people line.
Dude.
Like, what is going on? So yeah, train up your people.
I saw that firsthand. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When you should be front and center.
Mm-hmm.
People like forget about that line because at our theater is kind of small, seems like.
Yeah.
And it's just like a little side section where we can walk up to the front, you know? People think we're lost or something.
not.
You know? No, we're not.
We're not.
I'm an A-list member. Like I got my phone out ready to be scanned for my rewards.
Yep.
So kind of ridiculous, but
Yeah.
and also the theater was blazing hot.
Oh my
Incredibly
God,
hot, dude. I was sweating up. Like, I wore a jacket and pants, and I took off my jacket.
Right.
And Zach was like fanning himself with his hat.
Yeah.
You know? And I just had to keep my pits were sweating, bro.
Yeah, it was
Like,
horrible.
yeah, it was ridiculous. So I don't know what the deal was with that.
Yeah.
but-
Well, Leighton AMC, you're on our watch list. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And they didn't even recognize us, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Which
that's crazy.
insane.
So yeah, great theater experience. You could tell the love the people in the theater had for the movie. There was a guy next to us in a Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, that was cool. You should have worn
Very-
yours.
Should have. I don't have one.
Yeah,
do.
Jaron doesn't have one.
I do. I have one. I wore it in high school, and it doesn't fit anymore. But, yeah, I don't even know where it is. It's a
Sure.
lie.
Yeah.
I-
You're wearing it under your clothes right now.
Yeah. I was thinking about. I looked for it for a second to like, because it
Wear it for
could,
this.
be funny to wear for the pod if people watch the YouTube of it. Also, we shouted this podcast out on our Instagrams, expecting a big bump
Mm-hmm.
and little bump, if any.
Tiny bump.
So,
So if you were influenced by our Instagram to come listen and you're still here, thank you.
yeah.
Share it with your friends, please.
If you are my friend on Instagram, and you didn't listen to this, you're not my friend anymore.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna delete the app. So
Wow.
soon. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
Not
see.
immediately.
We'll see. I'm all talk. I just needed to promote this for a
Right.
little bit, you know, and get my news, get my film news.
Yeah.
Pretty much all it is. So yeah, very disappointed in you guys, but
Well, not you guys.
those who listen,
if they can hear it, they came to listen.
yeah,
So you're just talking to the wind right now.
I'm gonna clip this, put it on my Instagram,
Yeah.
so that all you guys are gonna be forced to see it, and then you're gonna know that I'm mad at you, and you're gonna be really upset, you know.
Perfect.
So yeah, be prepared for that. But those who do listen, we love you because it's consistent. We're getting consistent numbers. Okay, so must be doing something right.
Yeah. Thank you to you all.
Thank you.
Our fixators.
I know who you guys are, and I love you so much. Yeah. All right. So
You were going through.
we're talking about our opinions on the movie.
Not yet, but we can.
No, we've
you were
been
still
talking
going through
about
the-
AMC theaters for the past 10 minutes. Okay, so it's no secret we loved this movie. I
Yeah.
gave it a 5-star, and so did Austin.
Yep.
So did everybody that I know. I just barely refreshed this on Letterboxd. My friend Nick,
Mhm.
Nick Header, gave it a 4.5. Also, he agreed with what I said about this movie was the biggest blue ball ever.
Yeah. Sure
Um,
was.
and he said it makes No Way Home look like Child's Play. Any movie makes No Way Home look like Child's Play. I'll say that.
Here's what I will say for No Way Home. It
Okay.
was one of the greatest theater experiences of my life.
I'll agree with that.
And so I can't, like, in good conscience, knock it down
Okay.
on my Letterboxd. You know,
I get you.
not nearly as good as this, of course.
Yes. And even I saw this like minutes before Austin got here to record, but Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, if you guys don't know that, you're dumb. Okay. I don't know why I have to clarify that, but I feel like I have to. Tom Holland, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. He said he saw this movie just barely, and he said it's the greatest Spider-Man film ever made. So even he agrees.
Yeah.
Like, and he's putting down his own movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. He's referenced in this movie a couple times, which is cool. All the little Easter eggs and stuff. And I feel like there's there's a good amount of fan service, but it's fan service done in the right way.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like,
Whereas like No Way Home, it was just crazy, blatant,
Yeah.
fan service in place of a story.
yeah,
this
like
was-
let's address every single meme on
Mhm.
the internet and every single thing that people have wanted us to talk about,
Right.
and like these Peters to talk about,
Yeah.
and just put it in live action instead of like focusing on the story and the depth of the characters,
Right.
and everything else that makes a really good movie. And they just made a whole just meme,
Yeah. And
So-
this movie, in contrast, wonderful story,
Oh yeah,
very well thought out, like a true labor of love,
touching. Very
and
touching.
then just accented by those funny memes and
Yeah,
great
I mean,
cameos and
you have
things
to
like
look
that.
for them. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, us as Spider-Man fans, like we recognize it. Like a couple times in the watching it, like I'd point at something. and
Yeah.
I'd sit over. I'd talk to Zach or Tristan, and be like, "They're playing the Spider-Man video game right
Mhm.
there on the TV. Can you see that?"
Right.
Yeah, Jaron, I can see it. But yeah, like lots of cool little moments like that. So, and like they did the Spider-Man meme again, where they're pointing at each other.
Yeah, we didn't love that. Our entire theater,
That got
did.
the biggest laugh in the entire movie.
like hoops and hollers. After everybody finished laughing, this guy's like clapping up there, and he's like, "Oh, that was funny."
That was so good. That was funny. Gosh, I'm gonna murder-
Yeah, that was the worst part of the movie for me.
it was kind of. Yeah, I was like, these are our people.
Yeah, this is who we are.
So yeah, lots of little great moments like that. But like we said, so heartfelt the story. Like Miles and Gwen's dynamic
Oh.
is like so deep, and so like there's so many different moving parts to it, and the motivations behind their actions. Like Gwen she's got secrets that she's keeping this whole movie.
Mhm.
Miles like loves her. You can tell like he's been drawing pictures of her in his notebook ever since she left. He didn't think he was gonna ever see her again, and she just shows up, and they're forced to deal with all these emotions. You can tell Miles trying to make this, romantic connection with her, and she's got her walls up, and you're just watching him like break them down, and it's so nice.
Yeah.
It was great to watch.
That scene where they're on top of that like domed building, and they're
Yeah.
walking around after his party,
Mhm.
and they're hanging upside down, just sitting by each other.
You can see the city. It's
Oh my
such a
gosh.
beautiful shot. Like
I don't know why, but that hit me so hard. Like
Really?
it's just so relatable.
I know, dude, the tension in that scene.
Really, it was like palpable.
Yeah.
I know this sounds dumb to say about like a Spider-Man movie, but it is like their real feelings, and the characters are so well fleshed out
Yeah,
that it just works on that level.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to hype this up too much, but I didn't think cinematography like that was possible in an animated movie.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
nothing you've seen before. You probably heard that 100 times about this movie, but it's true. We don't want to overstate it, but you really have to see this. This is the best movie of the year by easily.
So far, you're saying?
Yeah,
Or like it will be.
I'm saying so far, and that it will be.
Yeah. So far, it's best movie of the year for me.
I mean, we'll have to see. Oh no, sorry, Barbie.
yeah.
Can't forget about Barbie.
No, well, I was thinking, like, I don't think there's so much hype around Oppenheimer.
Mhm.
I don't think it'll be more innovative and groundbreaking than this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like you said, the animation just pushes so many boundaries. It's insane. So I don't think Oppenheimer can stand up to that. Barbie, I love
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, but maybe it can't. I don't know. We'll
I feel
see.
like we know there's a limit on how good Oppenheimer can be.
Exactly.
Like, it's not going to be better than The Dark Knight. I think. I mean, it's not going to be.
Uh,
I don't think it's going to be Christopher Nolan's best movie,
No, yeah. Well, because, yeah, exactly.
just
It's about-
because of like the source material. I mean,
it's
they're
about a
talking
historical figure.
Yeah, it's a historical
scientist.
biopic.
So, yeah, it can't be his best movie ever. And I'm not a huge fan of Nolan. I really like all of his movies, but I
Okay.
don't think I'd put him over. He wouldn't be like in my top 10, maybe.
I'd say he's in
directors.
my top 10. I'd say he cracks.
Really? Yeah, maybe he does. I'd have to reevaluate. But like when you've got, here's the thing: he relies a lot on IMAX,
Yeah,
but he's not like very innovative or game changing. He's consistent,
Yeah.
but not like
He loves
breakthrough great.
practical effects. We love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So does Michael Bay, though, right? Just kidding. Jaron loves Michael Bay.
His ambulance movie that came out, he was like trashing the CGI in that, like in his interviews to promote the movie.
Michael Bay was.
Yeah,
trashing?
he was. He was like, he's like, nah, he said some of the CGI is shite in this movie.
Wow.
That's what he said in an interview. Because he didn't, I don't know, he's just complaining, he's just whining.
Right.
Like he does, But I like Transformers. I'll say that. First Transformers, good movie. Really liked it. Still do.
Right.
Shia LaBeouf, incredible actor. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Hope he gets. I don't even know what's going on with that guy right now.
I don't know either. I think he's okay now, right?
You think so?
No, Peanut Butter Falcon. I guess that's been a few years.
It's been a while, yeah.
Anyway,
He was kicked off of Don't Worry, Darling because Olivia Wilde. She's got issues too.
yeah. How
We
much of
know-
that was true? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
She said he was mean.
Yeah.
Whatever.
isn't he a method actor though?
Yeah, he's method, bro.
So, like, of course,
On the set of Fury, he didn't shower for the year.
didn't he also get like a tattoo for?
Yeah, no, and he got a tattoo for his movie where he's like a drug dealer or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
he got a few tattoos. I'm pretty sure.
Like a whole body, like a whole belly tattoo.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Crazy.
And he like chipped his own tooth or whatever. So did Brad Pitt did that too for Fight Club.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
No, I thought he already had a chipped tooth, didn't he?
No,
Okay,
he
that's
chipped-
crazy.
He chipped it himself.
I don't know. 'Cause I'm pretty
I
close. with
you
that.
know what's I never like back up my facts with any sort of source. You just say like, really? I'm like, yes.
I take it. I believe
Or
it.
if I'm wrong about something, I just say, no, wrong.
Right.
Like you're wrong.
I love that about you.
Thank you. We did it at the end of this movie. I didn't know this was a two-parter because I wasn't like, I mean, I didn't see too many. I saw trailers,
Yeah.
but I didn't do the research on this movie. I wasn't. Its release date kind of just popped up on me.
Yeah.
That like, oh, it's coming out next week. Okay,
Right.
we need to go see that because we haven't mentioned it at all in the pod.
No.
Except for last week, we were talking about it a bit. But I mean, I didn't think this would be the last movie. I figured there'd be more since it's been working so well.
Yeah.
But this movie leads or it ends on a big cliffhanger.
Mhm.
Like a lot of unresolved things. Everything's unresolved. It's like in Infinity War. I'll say that.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's where a lot of the criticism comes from. Those people who
Yeah.
gave it 4.5 stars are like, well, it's not a standalone complete movie, which,
Yeah.
it's not. But I was saying this to Jaron, like Dune
Mhm.
was marketed the whole time as a part one.
Yeah.
And the ending of Dune is lame,
Mhm.
if you think about it. Like the amazing set pieces and all the action just to lead up to like a one-on-one fight that ends with them walking in the desert.
Yeah.
It's a lame ending for Dune.
Mhm.
But when you understand that it's a two-parter, it's like still a fantastic movie. I think it's a 5-star for me. I'd have to look at my rating.
It's a 4.5 for me.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew this was marketed as they didn't do as well marketing it as a two-parter.
Yeah. Only the dedicated spider people.
Yeah, like
They know.
myself.
Just you, yeah.
But it was supposed to come out over a year ago. Its
Really?
initial release date was forever ago.
has it been done for that long?
No. In
Because
fact,
I remember this being pushed back and being
Yeah.
mad about it. Yeah,
like an entire year at least.
that's crazy.
And I think that's when I found out it was supposed to be a two-parter because maybe it was supposed to be released as one movie
Mhm.
and then they kicked it back and then made the decision to do two. I can't remember the entire timeline, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've known for like over a year that it was
Okay.
going to be a
All right.
two-parter. So that's crazy.
No way to fact check this if he actually knew, but you
I
guys can
texted you.
believe him if he. No.
I texted you last year. I'll pull up the texts.
Yeah.
I'll drop it down below.
Okay. Yeah. But honestly, I didn't mind it too much. I was mad. Right when it just says to be continued.
Mhm.
What? Like I was so ready for everything that was about to happen.
Yeah.
Everything that led into with, spoilers.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We've established if you're listening to this podcast, it's a spoiler. So sorry.
we do that every single time. Like we've already established this.
Yeah, we just
You're
need to-
gonna get spoiled.
when we do our introductions, we'll do a spoiler alert.
Okay.
If
No,
yeah, we won't remember.
if you've been listening by now,
Yeah, you know,
you guys know.
whatever.
You know what's up. I mean, we try not to, because we know some of you people that just love us, or
Yeah.
whatever, just want to hear our voices and hear us talk about what we love, film and stuff. But this one, like, watch this movie. Everybody should see this movie. It's a cinematic masterpiece, and it's an achievement in animation and storytelling.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you. So yeah, but everything that leads into, there's like, I mean, Miles trying to save his family he's on like the wrong world, the wrong universe or multiverse or whatever. And he's like in a really bad spot with the Prowler. And this whole New York like doesn't have a Spider-Man, because he was bit in his, like the spider they're supposed to bite. The Spider-Man in that universe that he's in, which is the wrong one. Like, I don't even know how I got confused myself.
Miles is from universe Earth 1610.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the first movie, he's bit by a spider, but that spider was transported there by Alchemax from a different dimension,
Yes.
and it came from Earth 42.
Earth 42. That's
Mhm.
why it's the number.
Yeah, exactly. So in this movie, when he's in Earth 1099 or whatever, Spider-Man 2099's Earth,
Yep.
and he has the go home machine, it scans his DNA, determines what spider DNA he has and what universe it's from, sends him back to 42 because the spider was from there.
Yep.
So then he's in universe 42,
Yes.
and there's no Spider-Man there because that spider never bit Miles in that universe. It
Mhm.
bit the wrong Miles.
Yeah.
So because of that, there's no Spider-Man, and it's in the city's in shambles.
Yeah. Like everything's on fire, and he meets himself in that universe,
Mhm.
and he's a bad guy, which is crazy.
He's the
Like,
Prowler.
He's the Prowler, bro. And his uncle Davis is still alive, but he's not the Prowler. He's just like a henchman or whatever.
Mhm.
So
And his dad's dead.
his dad's dead, so not so cool. But he needs to get back to his universe ASAP because his dad's gonna die like the next day.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And Gwen is like in the right universe, goes to look for him. She doesn't know how he's gonna get him back or even where he is. She doesn't know, right?
No, she says, I don't know where he is, but I have a good idea of where to start looking. So,
Okay. Optimism.
yeah.
So,
And a great cliffhanger. Like,
great cliffhanger, but like, bro, very surprising in the theater for me. I guess I was the only one, or maybe Austin was the only one who wasn't surprised. But
well, Zach said he wasn't, but.
dude, you can't,
And we can say whatever we want about Zach because he doesn't listen to the podcast.
which we found out yesterday.
What an a-hole.
So he's a nice guy. Don't say that about him. But yeah, cool. You want to listen, man.
Yeah.
We make this for you. Just
Sure
kidding.
do.
But we've mentioned you. So yep.
But yeah,
Yeah. So
great movie, great story. In fact, today, right before I came over, I was watching Into the Spider-Verse, the first movie, and that was already one of the best Spider-Man movies ever.
Yeah.
One of the best animated movies ever. And watching that after watching the sequel, like a world of difference.
Really.
The sequel is so much better. Like the story is just so rich, and there's so much more development in it. Because in the first movie, like go back and watch, and Miles and Gwen don't even have like a real rapport. There's not even like a romance there.
Really.
Like the movie goes so fast
Yeah.
that it's all about his mentorship or his apprenticeship with Peter.
Okay.
And Gwen's just kind of like an ancillary character. She's just there.
That's true. Yeah.
And then it's all about like we start the movie on Gwen. She's like the centerpiece of this movie as well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Anyway, the story in every aspect is just way richer in this sequel.
Their dynamic, I'd say, is a lot more interesting
Mm.
than the Jake Johnson Spider-Man with Miles. I'll say that. But I
Yes.
mean, not to say that that one's lesser. I mean, like in a bad way, but it's just that one's great. But this one is just so good.
Right.
So, but when this movie ended, I wanted to say this, that I was mad, but then my first thought went to like, oh, every time I watch part 2 of this movie, I'm gonna have to watch this
Yeah.
with it. So I'm gonna be watching 5 hours. of
Yeah.
the movie.
Because this is one of the longest animated movies that ever got a wide release or something like that.
It's the longest animated movie ever.
Wow.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah. And it didn't feel like it. It didn't feel long
No,
for
dude.
me.
No, I was like, because it was wrapping up or whatever, and I'm like, this must be like the climax, the rise in action, and then we're gonna get to the fall, maybe something bad, like his dad's gonna die, and then we're gonna get the resolution. But it was just a rise, and then it's over. So
Well, you should go watch it again, because for me, knowing that like it had to end on a cliffhanger or
yeah,
like in a conflict, it was just so perfectly paced.
really, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, this is because it ends. He's fighting every single Spider-Man from pretty much every universe,
Right.
and I was like, wow, nothing's beating this. Like, this is crazy. So, yeah, I will need to watch it again. I'm going to definitely.
I'm going at 12:45 tomorrow. If you want to come,
Who are you going with?
myself.
Okay,
You don't have to. We'll talk.
it's
about
my
it later.
grandma's birthday, so I would.
That is the fakest excuse I've ever heard.
It's true.
There's definitely that's true.
It's true. Or it's like 1,000% would go. Love to.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get out of it.
Sure.
Yeah. She might listen to this pod.
I hope
I think
she
she
does.
knows how to work a spot.
Well, when you see her tomorrow, since you're going to see her tomorrow, show her.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, what else do we want to mention?
I don't know. We talked about it a lot after. In fact, we were driving home from the movie, and I told everybody to stop talking because
Yeah.
we needed to keep some content in for the podcast. But
Uh-huh.
let me see. I'm just going to revisit my review, and
Yeah. What is revisit? See what? Because I know I had some negatives. And so did you.
this is one thing I really liked. Like going back to how this story is just a step up from the last one.
Mm.
Miles' relationship with his parents was so great.
Yeah.
Like the way that was written. Again, it just felt like really relatable. When you're that age and you're trying to do everything that's right, but
Yeah.
you're always at odds with your parents. You're not seeing eye to eye. So I really like their dynamic the whole time.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Like he just can't tell them everything,
Right.
And it took a lot for him to work up the courage to tell his mom that he was Spider-Man, but it was the wrong mom because she
Yeah.
didn't know who Spider-Man was because he doesn't exist in that universe. But yeah, I loved that aspect of that they chose to focus on that relationship more,
Right.
and how interesting that was. Which I wanted to get into that actually. I wanted to ask you, which dynamic was better for you, like more that you enjoyed more? Miles' dynamic with his parents or Gwen's dynamic with her father?
I think I enjoyed Miles's more.
Okay, it gets more screen time. We'll
Yeah,
say
it
that.
does exactly. But Gwen's was great, and I think that'll come into play even more so in the next movie,
I think so.
because a big part of like in this movie, there's a theme of canon events,
Mhm.
and the canon event that is the center point of this film is Captain Stacy dying.
Yeah,
And her dad was Captain Stacy, but he retired before he could die.
Yeah.
So that's her canon event missed. So I think that's going to play a huge part in too,
I think so as well.
beyond the Spider-Verse. So
I really enjoyed it. The opening sequence, it
Yeah.
chooses to focus on Gwen, and you're like, "Whoa, is this not even Miles' movie?"
Mhm.
It was so fantastic in the
Yeah.
whole fight sequence, and then you see that her father has to know that she's, Spider Woman, That was so crazy. And then he chooses to still arrest her. Like he still doesn't trust her.
Right.
That because he thinks that Spider-Woman killed Peter Parker in that universe, which she did, I guess. But he turned into a lizard, and she was trying to save everybody, and it was an accident. Not her fault. It was Peter's own fault, that he died.
Yeah.
She just couldn't save him.
Right.
That's what she says in Into the Spider-Verse in the first one. So yeah, it's like his life's mission to capture Spider-Woman, and then he finds out it's his daughter, and he still chooses to try to arrest her, which is
pulls a gun on her.
Pulls a gun on his own daughter.
After
he
he
doesn't
knows it's her.
I know.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? So
Would
yeah,
you do the same?
No, I don't trust her. I'll trust anything Haley Steinfeld says to me.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
She can't get me to watch the Hawkeye TV show. I'll say that.
Yeah, she's not good in that. I mean, she's fine in it.
This show is just not good.
Show's not good.
The writers,
Yeah.
everything.
But yeah, I did love that dynamic mostly because of how it looked. Like I loved her like watercolor world.
Yeah,
That was dynamic and changed as her emotions did.
I didn't get that at first, but then I was like, oh, this is a different universe. Like,
Yeah.
this is just how the background is.
Right.
So then I really appreciated it after
Yeah, it
that.
was great. And her dad is hot. I think he was modeled after Paul Newman.
Really?
Go watch the movie. Like he's a thick Paul Newman. He's got the same eyebrows.
You mean Paul
same-
Blart?
No.
Just kidding.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I have to look at Paul Newman.
You don't know
I don't even know his face right now.
you don't know who Paul Newman is? Cool Hand Luke.
He does not look like Paul Newman.
You're out of your
Paul
mind.
Newman's skinny.
Did you not hear what I just said? I
What?
said a big Paul Newman.
Okay, I didn't hear that. No, sorry.
Too busy loading your Paul Blart joke.
That's true. Sometimes I do that, man. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, man. Whatever.
I have such a good joke that I just like, oh, I can't wait till he stops talking
It was great.
so I can talk about Paul Blart. But yes, I know Paul Newman. I love Paul Newman. I was getting confused, man. I was thinking, I was like, oh,
No,
so
it's
many
okay.
Pauls. It's whatever. So yeah, very cool. Why don't we get into categories then? Let's
Let's
just
do it.
do it. Okay. Favorite part?
Okay.
You
You
want-
got some
I have
options?
choices actually. Yeah, I could read to you if you want. I know we don't typically do that.
We don't. Yeah. No, let's go.
Okay. So we talked about this intro scene with Gwen, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man 29, and the Vulture. Vulture's from this different like Shakespearean comic book style or whatever, and he's like white and brown, like he was a drawing with no real color, and he doesn't know what's going on. He's just been shifted to a different dimension, and he's just trying to wreak havoc in a museum.
Yeah.
But Gwen's taking care of it, and Spider-Woman shows up, Spider-Man 2099, who's played by Oscar Isaac, and Spider-Woman is Issa Rae. They're just great. The whole, they're solving it, and you don't know what to think of this new Spider-Man 2099. He seems kind of mean a little bit,
Right.
Which is what they're going for. A little scary, he's big, he's got claws.
Yeah.
And he almost kills the Vulture right there. He almost bites his throat. Remember that?
Well, yeah, and I mean, Miguel O'Hara in the comics is like a reluctant Spider-Man. He's never been like the happy-go-lucky, whippy, nice one.
Really?
He was always violent and didn't want to be Spider-Man and was kind of forced into it.
Does he kill people?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
He does.
I haven't read the comics, so I don't know about that, but that's very interesting. I didn't know that. So yeah, that whole scene, which I loved. One of the best, it doesn't. Animated movies usually don't have an opening with such action like
Yeah.
that, So it was a real big surprise, which I really enjoyed. And then we get into the next part, which is Miles versus Spot, part 1. I'll say that, their first fight.
Yeah, I really like that.
I didn't know Spot was this is how much I didn't even know going into it. I didn't know Spot was the main villain of the movie.
Yeah.
This Spot guy shows up and I'm like, oh, he's just gonna be a throwaway villain. or villain of the week that
Right.
he's gonna have to deal with, and Miles isn't taking it seriously, and it's just so like it must have been so hard to animate because Spot like
Yeah.
he throws these holes everywhere and he goes through them and everything's going on and it's crazy and it's intricate, but Spider-Man makes some pretty easy work of him, keeps him trapped while he's going to meet with his like school counselor, talk
Mhm.
about college with his parents. So there's like that urgency that he needs to get to this meeting while also dealing with Spot. So a lot of different things going on at once, but just
Right.
real fun, real cool. Like you see that he's now like a good Spider-Man, which I always enjoy as just a pure Spider-Man fan. You want to see Spider-Man doing Spider-Man stuff,
Yeah, being powerful and
yeah, being super powerful, strong, and like quippy, and just throwing away these villains like they're nothing. So I really like. That's what I didn't like so much about Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
yeah.
He doesn't get good till hardly ever, bro. Like, I mean, No Way Home, he's good. Far From Home, like, still just making
No, yeah.
so many mistakes. Homecoming, he's just horrible. Like, doesn't know how to do anything. And
Yeah.
Iron Man's there, watching over him the whole time.
Yeah. And a quick note on that: the craziest thing is he's the only Spider-Man that we didn't get like an origin story for.
Yeah,
So you would expect him to be like already strong when we pick up with his story.
yeah.
Already powerful, already knows how to do it. He's
Mhm.
not.
Skip
you
the
look at
origin,
Toby-
but just like he's just barely Spider-Man. It seems
Exactly.
like, yeah,
But you look at Toby and Andrew, we see them get their powers and we see them become like super cool within the same movie.
I know. Yeah,
So
that's true. That's a good point. So yeah, Miles versus Spot. Love that scene.
mhm.
Gwen visits Miles in his universe. She just like pops up. It kind of picks up where they left off in Into the Spider-Verse, where
Mhm.
she's showing up in that portal. And real cool. They're just talking,
Yeah.
and she's playing it cool, but Miles is like just really wants to know like why she hasn't been there, where she's been, how she's been doing,
Mhm.
and she's got her walls up, like we said before, but just really misses him. You can tell, And then they have that heart to heart about their parents. She tells him how her dad found out,
Mhm.
and he's thinking about telling his parents, and she's like, "Don't do that. It's the worst thing I ever did."
Yeah.
And they like so emotional, and then we get that beautiful scene. Oh, when is it like the Chrysler Building they're on?
They said the name. I
I think it's a Chrysler Building.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the Empire State. I don't know.
wasn't the Empire State.
Wasn't?
No.
Okay. You've been to New York,
I've been to New York. Let me just look through my archives real quick.
but some really tall building, and you get like the shot straight up, and then they're upside down, and that whole thing is happening while they're upside down, where they're like,
Yeah.
Miles is trying to like scoot his hands close, so they can hold hands, and then she's talking about how like Gwen and Spider-Man never work out,
Mhm.
like in all of history, and he's like, oh, there's a first time for everything, which is awesome. And
Right.
then she like leans on his shoulder, but yeah, it's a good scene. It's like laying out the entire thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just really enjoyed that part. And then she comes to the party. He has that big talk with his, that big fight with his parents.
In front of everybody.
Yeah. Which it's embarrassing.
Mhm.
That happens
All the time. We get that.
I remember. I'm gonna tell a personal story.
Sure.
When I was young, I probably won't get the details right into this, but everybody was at my house for my birthday party, and I did something wrong. Parents put me in timeout in my room, and I was so mad. I started kicking my window, and I kicked my window. I broke it.
Broke through the glass.
I broke through the glass.
Wow.
And my parents heard it, and they started coming upstairs. And I moved my dresser in front of my door, and I wouldn't let them in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude. I just like barely thought about that, like just now for the first time in years. It is embarrassing.
You want to work through that real quick?
Yeah. I just forgot.
Okay, great.
I was young. It's not like a traumatizing thing, but
No.
My dad was like breaking through the door, and it's so embarrassing. Like
That is
it's
scary,
so
dude.
embarrassing that I did that. So I don't even remember what I was doing or why I was sent to timeout. I don't know.
Yeah, you never do.
Probably some BS reason,
Right.
you know.
Parents were overreacting. That's all.
Honestly, dude. I'll pay for the window. I
Yeah.
know I'm only like 8 years old,
Right.
but give me a break.
You could have back then.
I could have, dude. I had stuff, in the works.
Mm-hmm.
I told my parents to invest in Bitcoin back in like
Wow.
2008, before it was even conceived.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They didn't listen to me.
Yeah, they probably didn't
They
even
said,
know.
"Where's your source? Huh? How do you know this?" And I said, "Trust me."
Right.
Okay. And look where we got them,
Yeah.
Now they're just listeners on my podcast. So
Well, lucky them.
could be billionaires.
Could be.
All right. We could have made this movie with all the money that we would have had.
You think you could have done it better than the people who did make it?
It's probably a good thing, though. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I would be Spider-Man.
Yeah. That could work.
So yeah, that whole scene. Gwen visits Miles. Next part, Gwen, Miles, the Indian Spider-Man. I don't know his name.
Pravita Parker or something.
Something.
He's played by the guy in Deadpool, though.
I know. I
Captain
recognized
America,
his
yeah.
voice. I was like, very cool. Very good voice actor.
Yeah.
And then, Spider-Man 2099 shows up at the end there to try to fix everything. But we get to know, like, kind of what's going on with the whole Canada events thing and how it's something that needs to happen. So he saves the Indian Spider-Man's girl, or his girl's dad, who's like the Captain Stacy, of that universe. And he's not supposed to. Gwen tries to stop him, but he doesn't know. He's just gonna save who he wants to save, And it's like a whole like black hole like pops up at the bottom of the universe. So it doesn't look good. And then Spider-Man 2099 shows up, lays it all out for Peter. And also Hobie is in that as well. We'll say that.
I love Hobie.
You love him?
So, I can't really understand Cockney accents, but I loved him.
Yeah, I heard some people saying that like, for me, he was hard to understand.
Yeah,
At some points, like the British sayings and slang,
Mhm.
There's lots of slang stuff I didn't know. They even put like little, like a little dictionary thing at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, this is what this British word means. So, but I didn't have time to read that.
No. No.
So, if I was reading that, like I wasn't listening to what they were saying at the moment.
Right.
So, yeah. Whatever.
So, yeah, the Indian scene, I like that.
You did.
Yeah. I did a lot.
You did a lot.
Look, it's going to come down to Miles and Gwen,
Okay.
that scene you gave me, the India scene, and then also the chase on Nueva York on 2099's planet.
So that's my next scene I was going to talk about. Miles versus every single Spider-Man that's at that facility, whatever. And it's hundreds of them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he just like embarrasses everybody, bro.
Yeah, which shows how like powerful and smart he is to draw them all away. And
Yeah. Crazy.
and that's where it really comes, because like you said, Spot was the main villain of this movie,
Mhm.
but it really came down to like the most significant conflict was between Spider-Man 2099 and Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of comes to a climax.
Yeah.
where, like you were scared that 2099 is going to do something like crazy.
Yeah. You say I wasn't worried. I was like, I feel like his intentions are kind of bad, but like he's not about to kill like Miles, in
But-
front of everybody.
I don't know, because
You felt like that?
like in that moment, Gwen and the original Peter Parker,
Mm-hmm.
they like they told Miles they knew what the plan was all along, that like he couldn't continue to be Spider-Man or couldn't continue to exist as Spider-Man,
Yeah.
So they're like willing to let him die to save all of these.
That was the plan?
I think so, from what I
I thought they
understood.
were just trying to keep him there so that he doesn't save his dad, but then like
Right,
after that
right.
he can go back and keep being Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, but then there's that part where Miguel O'Hara is like, "You are the original anomaly.
Yeah.
You aren't even supposed to be Spider-Man."
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't understand that either, because how has the fabric of the universe like stayed
Not.
intact if he?
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad writing. I think I just don't understand it.
I
So,
think it's just like he's supposed to just kind of wreck stuff wherever he goes because he is the original anomaly.
right.
But it's not like 100% certain that he's going to.
Yeah, and by the end of the movie, we certainly know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he's just like allowing him to be alive, because he's still Spider-Man. He still
Right.
wants to do what's right, but he wants to do it in his own way.
Mhm.
And he's kind of just like a no nonsense, no like mercy
But yeah, because
people.
like during his intro, he says, "I'm not always proud of like the things I have to do."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is that tension built up there.
So I do think he is in danger of Spider-Man 2099 in the next movie.
Yeah.
So I think the next movie is going to be better. Don't you
Yeah,
think? It has to be with all of the plot elements that we're going to have to address in the next movie. I think it's going to be better. And that's
Yeah.
crazy to say, I mean, it has to be. I don't know. It's going to be a real big disappointment if it's not.
Yeah.
The part one, like it's supposed to be a little bit worse,
Mhm.
isn't as good. Yeah, I mean that the second
That
part
is
isn't as
better,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. But I have faith. I have lots of faith.
I do too.
in
Yeah, like
this
seeing how
series.
well they executed this.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, total trust in them.
The first one, the Into the Spider-Verse, I watched that. I mean, we watched that right when we got home from our missions.
Mhm.
And it was the movie that like everybody kept throwing in our face.
Yeah.
Where like I watched it like 4 times in a month because I really liked it.
Right.
But then I saw it a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched it like in the past 2 years. Because it's just like I downloaded the whole soundtrack. Like I was listening to that
same.
everywhere. And I just loved it so much. And then I just kind of forgot about it for a bit. Just because I watched it too much.
Right.
So, but still a great movie. I'm gonna need to rewatch it soon here.
Yeah.
So. All right, so those are all the scenes that I,
Yeah. That's tough. What's your favorite?
I'll
Let's go
say
first.
Miles versus all of Spider-Man. That's my
Yeah.
favorite because it just shows how powerful he is.
Mhm.
Spider-Man at his peak, like in any movie ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say that, and he just does it with such like finesse and ease.
Right.
And he's got a plan. You don't know if he has a plan where he's going, and then he just like, does his tap thing back.
Mhm.
Call back to the original, and gets home, and there's that heart to heart with Jake Johnson's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And yeah, really climactic. So
great.
very good. That's my favorite. But then Gwen visits Miles. That's second, close second.
Here's what I think it is. The Austin Hyatt in me relates more with the Gwen and Miles.
Yeah.
But the Spider-Man in me, that's certainly in me because I'm literally Spider-Man,
Yeah.
is more connected with the scene where
Yeah.
the train scene.
I'd say there's probably more Spider-Man in me than Jaron Allred. So that's
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
why I like Miles versus Spider-Man.
Right.
I just relate more to Spider-Man.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Now I'm questioning your makeup. Like, is it because there's got to be some room for Batman in there because you're
Yeah.
also
I'll say Batman 40%, Spider-Man 30. Jaron,
you're looking at 30.
let me
You're
think.
trying to
Let me
get
show you my math
100%.
here. Spider-Man 31, Jaron 29.
That's perfect. What? So there's no driver in you? Or-
Driver.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's how you
dude.
drive.
Ryan Gosling, 100%. That's just like in the background of everything I
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next?
There's no
category?
Bateman. I'll say that. No Bateman.
Good. You heard that, ladies. No Bateman and Jaron.
No Bateman. Don't. Yes. Okay. So yeah, now that we got that. Least favorite part? Let's just skip this. There's no
Yeah.
drag in this movie. Nothing wrong.
My least favorite part was when everybody went crazy for the pointing meme.
Yeah, no, I'll say that too.
I liked the pointing meme like that. Like we've seen it too many times now. But
Yeah, I
it's
thought it was
whatever.
okay. I could have done without it.
Yeah.
So, is this the greatest movie ever?
Tell you what, if we're going off of Letterboxd's top 250 narrative films of all time,
It is.
right now it is.
Yeah.
So
We'll have to see how it ages.
Yeah.
I think as of right now, this is the best animated movie ever, and I can say that with a
Absolutely.
surety. Okay, it's the best Spider-Man movie ever.
Yep.
And that's all I want to say.
yeah, easy.
It's in the top 50 movies of all time ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be the best multiversal movie ever.
Is it my favorite movie ever? No.
No.
No. But that's
A
just
lot of
personal
bests.
preference. This could be like, let's say 1% of the population's favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
Of people who watch movies.
Movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is crazy is we always get to this category and it's never the best movie of all time. It's
Mhm.
always like I don't know what we did last week, but we
Little
have to do
Mermaid?
like a throwaway. No, like what was the Little Mermaid the best at?
Best. It wasn't even the best mermaid movie ever.
Right.
It was
So,
the
like-
best Javier Bardem playing King Triton movie.
That's right. So we always have to do a throwaway like that. But this is like legit the best animated movie ever.
Mm.
Like full stop. The best Spider-Man movie ever.
Yeah. I mean, we
So-
always consider it with every movie that we see.
We do. But this is the first one where it is
Where it's
the
like,
best of something.
This
Yeah.
kind of, I have to think about this a little bit harder.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Feel good about that. Most literally me character, Spider-Man.
yeah, I've been thinking
Which
about this a lot.
Spider-Man?
Definitely Cowboy Spider-Man.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
I
guys
was thinking
know this,
Ben
but
Riley.
Ben
He's so
Reilly.
like mysterious and emotional. You know?
yeah. I think that fits you. That's
You
perfect.
think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. He's like narrating everything. And that's Andy Samberg. That's who he plays.
Right.
So very funny character.
Yeah, I think that's you.
Thank you. All right. Cool. Why would this film get canceled? It could never be. Let's think.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah, I can't think of
Yeah, no. Spider Pig wasn't in it. Wasn't.
No, none of Spider-Man Noir wasn't in it.
He was at the very end. Like they were, she got her team together.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe
yes.
Spider Pig was there too. I just didn't see him, but I
Yeah.
saw Spider Noir like in the back. But Nick Cage didn't voice him. You
Right.
know, I wanted a little bit of that,
Yeah.
but it's okay. I'm not complaining.
So that's why you would cancel it?
No,
Oh.
I just wouldn't. I was just
Right.
Okay. Let's get more Spider-Man movie rankings before we wrap the show up. Do you want to talk about your list first or me?
I've got mine pulled up right here on the box.
Okay, so do I. But
Okay.
you
great.
know, you go. You
Well,
go.
we can do it at the same time. So bottom for me.
So you
I-
okay? So I looked at your list, but I can't remember exactly.
So
But
I
you
in-
included Venom and
yeah.
Okay.
I included the Sony live action Spider-Man verse movies.
okay,
Which
I
maybe that was
didn't.
okay.
but let me.
So it's just
So Morbius would be
Venom,
number
and Venom
one.
2.
I'll say that.
Best movie.
Yeah.
Morbius is best.
Mhm.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. Thank you. It's Morbin time.
Right.
So those. What do you say where those are? And then we'll get
Okay.
into where.
So Venom: Let There Be Carnage is my least favorite.
Horrible. I gave that a half star.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Made me hate Woody Harrelson
Yeah.
and
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, like two actors that I like and everything else.
Yeah.
Just
I
disgusting.
hate everything about that.
Yeah.
And the worst, like I couldn't understand anything that Venom was saying at all.
Yeah.
Or Carnage.
Yeah.
You know,
So stupid.
genuinely like frustratingly, like I was mad I saw it in theaters,
Yeah.
Like sometimes a movie's bad, you just shrug it off, you deal with it, like, oh, I didn't like it.
Mhm.
But this, like, there's movies that genuinely make you mad. Like maybe you had a little bit of an expectation for it and it just didn't meet anything and it like
Well,
did so many things wrong.
here's the thing for me. It was like one of those first movie theater experiences since COVID. Like There was nothing out at the time. And so I went in with like no expectations. So I
Okay.
just remember hating it, but I was like, maybe I just don't like movies, you know? Like it made me question how I felt about the experience as a whole. If
Really?
It was that bad, you know?
Imagine if, like, you'd gone through with that thought.
I know
You didn't like
we
movies.
wouldn't be here. Jeez. I don't even want to
It's
think
crazy how
about
much we've grown on movies.
it. Yeah.
Very nice.
And then the next movie for me is Morbius
Okay.
because I mean, I did hate it.
Okay.
It wasn't like Venom level bad or Venom Let There Be Carnage level bad. I don't know. And then I didn't see the first Venom, so
But isn't it
that's-
so bad that it's good?
That's exactly it. Like it's so bad that it was laughable.
Yeah.
There were no memes around Venom Let There Be Carnage. Like
that was
Morbius
just so
was
bad.
Yeah, Morbius was so bad it was good, and it was kind of a funny viewing experience because I was chuckling at something. You know, so
Yeah,
I didn't hate it
exactly.
Much.
Okay.
Okay, what's your bottom
So
Spider-Man movie?
number 10, I've got Spider-Man Far From Home.
Me too.
You too?
Yep.
Mhm. That's so nice. Okay, number 9, I have Spider-Man Homecoming.
Me too.
Okay.
Okay.
I think this is where we're going to be different.
Okay.
Number 8, I have Spider-Man. Maybe this is wrong. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay, that's fair.
You think that's fair?
My number 8 is The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay, so that's my number 7.
Okay.
I think those two for me are interchangeable. I'll say
Okay.
that. Because Spider-Man 2, though I liked it at the time, I had incredible bias because I really liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man
Right.
at the time. He kind of got me into Spider-Man, and then I went back and I watched the Tobey ones, and then Tobey was my favorite,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of has been ever since. But I also really like Andrew Garfield and his take on Spider-Man. But the second one, I really liked when I watch it, I choose to focus on the Gwen and Andrew, or I mean, Peter dynamic.
Yeah.
And she's going to Oxford. He doesn't want her to go, and he can't lose her. And it's all about time.
Yeah.
He's trying to save time with Gwen.
Yeah. That's a fantastic aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't get over like the Harry Osborn
Yeah.
Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Like, his
Dane DeHaan was
design and
terrible.
everything. What's that?
Dane DeHaan, that's who
Yeah.
plays. Yeah,
Yeah.
really bad.
Just
His haircut was like
so
weird.
gross, dude.
Yeah,
And then like Jamie Foxx,
yeah.
love him, but like they made him such an unbelievable, like just like you said earlier.
So comic booky, like
booky,
blue,
cartoony character.
looking so
Yeah.
stupid. He
So
says
dumb.
like at one point he's like, "It's my birthday.
Yeah.
Now it's time for me to light my candles." And then
Yeah.
he shocks Spider-Man. But
So bad.
I know it sounds really cool when I say it right now, but if you guys haven't seen the movie, it's actually really cringy when he
Right.
says it. So I know you're probably confused when I said that. You're like, that's kind of sick, actually.
One of my favorite parts of that movie though, is the scene where they're in Times Square.
Uh-huh.
And I know you've never been there, so it might get confusing for you here.
Yeah. What is that? It's Times Square.
But and there's that slow motion scene of Andrew shooting his web
Yeah.
to like save all those people on the stairs,
Loved it.
and it's like blocking the electricity. Oh, it's so cool.
Great scene.
So cool.
Yeah. And the visuals and the suit's really
Yeah.
cool. One of my
Yeah.
favorite suits.
Probably my favorite suit.
Probably definitely mine. I'll say
Yeah.
definitely mine.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great stuff.
Good movie if you choose to look past pretty much everything except for a few things.
Yeah, you
that
might have
fair?
had to. You might have just talked me into putting it above
No
something.
Way Home.
No.
Oh, okay.
No Way Home's pretty high for me
Okay.
because anyway, we'll.
All right. So we're up to 6 now. Why don't you say the next?
So
Four.
I'm still at 7, but so the
Okay.
next
So
one for
what's your
me
7?
Is Spider-Man 3,
Okay.
then The Amazing Spider-Man.
Whoa. So my 7 is Amazing Spider-Man 2. My 6 is Spider-Man 3. So I think it's better than No Way Home and Amazing Spider-Man 2. Just because,
Right. So we're still in the same except for No Way Home.
okay.
So my Spider-Man 3 is better than Amazing Spider-Man 2.
So should we talk about this one?
Yeah.
I like it. I know it gets a lot of hate, but it's the worst of the three of
Yeah.
The Raimi trilogy. But symbiote Spider-Man, first time we saw it, and we
So
get
cool.
him with his kind of emo
Tobey
phase
Maguire.
and his dance. We get to dance, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of funny scenes in that. I just think they took on a little bit too much. Eddie Brock, Venom, isn't a very good villain. He's a funny character,
Yeah, and that's the thing is like everywhere this movie fails for a lot of the same reasons that Amazing Spider-Man 2 fails,
Yeah.
like too many villains and things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
But they make all those failures more gracefully than the Amazing Spider-Man 2,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true.
Like even like Topher Grace, his character isn't great, but I think he performs better than, whoever the Harry Osborn kid is
Yeah.
in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
It's true. And I think this movie flows better.
Yeah.
But like if you're asking me which one I would rather have, like I couldn't watch No Way Home for the rest of my life or Spider-Man 3. I'd choose Spider-Man 3. That I'd want to
Yeah.
keep it, because I enjoy it. I don't want to lose it. It's still part of that trilogy, and I love Sam Raimi and obviously Tobey Maguire.
Right.
We're big Tobey fans.
We are.
So yeah, I just, I get the hate on it, but I don't think it's as extreme as people say. I think it's underrated. Probably the most underrated movie on this list. I'll say that.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's your next one?
My number 5 is The Amazing Spider-Man.
Same.
So, okay. You agree. My number 4 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's my number
Okay.
4.
Okay, that's where we differ a little bit.
Okay, what's your number 4?
So then mine is Spider-Man.
Okay.
Which this top 5 I'm not really set on.
Yeah.
I was looking at this and I'm like, I'm not sure about that. I think now I would put Spider-Man No Way Home below Spider-Man. The first.
Yeah, I think you
Raimi.
should.
Switch it for you.
I mean, you don't have to do it for me.
So no, let's just assume that. So yeah, Spider-Man is below No Way Home right now for me, but I think I'll switch it
Okay.
just because I love Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin.
In
That's
No Way
such a-
Home?
Yeah, no,
In Spider-Man. Yeah, me too.
I mean, he is great in No Way Home too, but
Yeah.
in Spider-Man, he's so good.
Yes.
He makes that movie for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I just love the origin story. I think it's
Mhm.
it's the best origin story of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first,
Mhm.
and it's the best. Nobody's beating it. Just the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
him. It was such an interesting directorial choice to make the web shooters organic.
I know, very cool though.
And you see the close up of his hand and the little spider things coming out, so he
Mhm.
can walk up walls. And it's so funny. Toby's such an enjoyable actor to watch.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and him just enjoying being Spider-Man. Shazam, up and away, web,
I love that scene.
fly. And then he figures it out, and he goes face first into that billboard.
Right.
His screams, and I need that money. The whole wrestling show,
I don't see how that's my problem.
dude. So many quotable lines from that
Yeah.
movie. I can't go without that one. It's got to be my top 3.
It's a great point.
Um,
And he's hot in that movie. He's fit.
Toby.
Yeah. Like when he first wakes up the day after he gets his powers,
Oh yeah.
and he puts his glasses on and they're blurry, and he's
She's
he stands in the mirror and he's ripped.
he's like, change. Oh yeah, big change.
Also, that's the best May. That's the best Aunt May.
Oh,
of
by
that trilogy.
far,
Yeah.
easily. So many
love her.
great monologues. It's just
Mhm.
great monologue after monologue.
Yeah.
And
So good.
yeah, when she's praying in that one scene in Spider-Man,
Then the Green Goblin
shows
comes
up.
and she destroys the house.
Those eyes, dreadful eyes.
Finish it.
So good. All right, so what are we on? I said my 4. What was your
Okay,
4?
my 4 is No Way Home, but after talking about it, it's 5.
It's-
My Spider-Man is 4.
Thank you.
So then for me, that leaves Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse above Spider-Man
At number 3.
at 3.
So mine number 3 is Spider-Man.
Okay.
My number 2 is Spider-Man 2,
Mine as well.
which is just so great. Him at his peak, Doc Ock, amazing villain.
Mhm.
The best of the trilogy. I think. I mean, just he finds redemption, and he was a friend of Peter's before. And you see that downfall of everything that goes on with him. And
Yeah, it's really emotional,
yeah,
that whole movie. And that's where Peter is the most Peter
yeah,
throughout all of these movies. Like,
Yes.
he is failing at every corner.
Mhm.
Like, his life absolutely sucks.
he's so vulnerable.
yeah,
You know.
and he's actually having to deal with the responsibility of being Spider-Man,
Yeah,
and he's failing. And it's just such a great movie.
it is great.
Yeah. Previously, it was like one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I mean, it still is,
So is, yeah.
but it was probably near the top, right?
yeah,
For me.
no, yeah, for me too.
And it still is. But now with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, got knocked down a peg, unfortunately.
It is for me too.
Is this recency bias?
I
Or
hope
we
it's
just-
not, man.
I
It
hope
could
it's
be.
not.
I could see. I mean, realistically, I could see myself like a couple months from now saying like,
Yep.
I think maybe when part 2 comes out, people are gonna think that's a lot better.
Yeah, we'll have a
And
clearer
maybe
picture.
they don't want to put like those 2 at the top 2 because everybody will think they're just idiots.
I don't know.
But we'll see.
But like, you think of like the MCU, everybody puts Infinity War and Endgame at the top of their
They do.
lists. A lot of people do.
Which one of those 2 do you think is better? I like
Infinity War.
Endgame.
Really?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I watched a movie called Tower Heist several years ago when it first came out, probably 2011.
Okay.
That cemented in me a hatred for heist movies. And Endgame is heavily influenced by heist movies.
I like heist movies.
Hate them. So
Oceans? You know, like Oceans 11?
No. No.
Come on. Wait, no.
No.
You do.
No, I don't, dude.
Brad Pitt,
I've never
George,
seen it.
Matt.
I've
Oh,
never seen it.
dude, come on.
I'm not going to watch it.
That's the best heist movie of all time. Probably the original.
That's better than Tower Heist.
I haven't seen Tower Heist. Is that a show?
No, it's a movie. It's like a comedy movie, though. Anyway,
They're just like, it's a parody of a heist movie.
well, yeah, as I think it stars Ben Stiller. Yeah, Eddie Murphy, Casey Affleck. Oh, Casey Affleck's
Casey's in it?
Yeah, I might have to rewatch that.
Okay.
Damn. I gave it a half star on Letterboxd. Came out in 2011.
Damn.
It's a good guess.
I know that heist movies kind of get a bad rap just because, Rick and Morty made fun of it.
Yeah,
With
that
the whole
episode
episode,
really influenced me too.
Kind of
yeah.
did. I just thought like an idiot for when Rick and Morty like makes fun of you from their like high pedestal or whatever. They're superior writers,
Right.
You just kind of feel like an idiot for liking everything that they're making fun of,
It's true.
But now that show's kind of not going to age very well.
Yeah,
with
no, it's
Justin
not.
Roiland and everything. So yeah, I think it's going to be cool to like heist movies a bit from now.
Okay.
But it's also a time travel movie. Don't you like time travel? Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, I do. And I think every element, like when Tony meets his dad at the base, like I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every time they time travel, I mean, I like every time travel aspect.
I think there's a lot of great scenes.
Yeah.
In the end battle, like that's so awesome. I think.
Yeah. Sure.
But Infinity War, I mean, it's just straight action the whole time.
Yeah. And like I
And-
love Thor in that movie, dude. When he like pops up right after getting Stormbreaker,
Yeah.
pops up in Wakanda and just like destroys everybody.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it could have been my favorite if it wasn't a part 1. You
yeah,
always
so exactly to your point. Like,
yeah,
we'll have to see how this one ages.
to see.
But yeah, so that's our list.
That is it.
My number one right now is Across the Spider-Verse. We'll see when Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out in March of 2024.
Few facts about the production.
Okay.
We touched on a couple. So Phil Lord and Christopher Miller revealed that they told Sony the sequel would be the same size as Into the Spider-Verse, but it ended up having the largest crew of any animated movie ever, with
Wow.
around 1,000 people working on it. they added that it has 240 characters and takes place in 6 different universes.
Wow.
What was your favorite universe? Mine was a Lego.
That's so
Dude,
great.
that was so funny. That's probably the part I laughed the hardest at.
Yeah.
The Lego Spider-Man and
It
stuff.
was just so jarring too. you know?
Yeah. Did you like the live action cameos? Like we
So
saw
it-
Childish Gambino.
Mhm.
It's just I don't know.
That I did like that, you know, he's the Prowler because that gets teased in the MCU, but then we never ever get to see it.
Yeah.
So it's cool that we got to see it,
It just kind of reminded me of what would have been.
Yeah.
You know, what could have been, actually.
but it did look kind of bad.
It did.
I didn't like how it looked
Yeah.
because, like, what they were able to achieve with animation in so many different styles, it's so beautiful. And even though they're all so distinct and different,
Mm-hmm.
it works so well together.
Yeah.
Whereas that transition to live action,
When the live action
is
people show
really
up, that's
jarring.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
So- And I don't like the reason they kind of did it. You know, I mean, it doesn't move the story along. You can tell like this is just fan service
Exactly.
at
Yeah.
its peak.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
which we
I-
don't like fan service. It's hard, you know, with Star Wars kind of doing it a lot lately.
One little bit of fan service I loved in this movie,
Okay.
didn't love maybe, was not only Genki, his roommate, playing Spider-Man PS4,
yeah, I
but
like
also
that too.
the actual Spider-Man PS4 showing up.
He did.
Like,
I was
yeah.
looking for him. I couldn't. When did he show up?
Like during that same sequence where they first see Donald Glover,
Okay.
he's like the next shot is him,
the
is the animated, like the video
Spider-
game
yeah, the
Spider-Man.
unit, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how I missed him. 'Cause I was looking for him. I was like, he'll be in this the
Yeah.
game one, but that is cool. That's one of those moments where I pointed out. I was like, he's playing the video game. There.
Yeah.
Played that game too. Beat that level. Yeah, and then the meme, you know, like that's just fan service where
Yeah,
they did
exactly.
the Spider-Man pointing at each other. Didn't like that. Originally it was scheduled to be released on April 8th, 2022.
Yeah.
But it was delayed to October 7th. Then it was delayed to October 7th. And then it was delayed to June 2nd. So
Yeah, I remember being like, because I think I just finished the Miles Morales video game when they first delayed it in April, and I was
Yeah.
like heartbroken.
really.
I was like, how? Like, how can they delay it 6 months? So then when it came around in October again, I was like, oh, well, I don't even care. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably never going to come out. That's why, like, at the beginning of this year, I put all my most anticipated movies in my calendar so that I could see them coming up like weeks ahead.
Yeah.
And when I put this in, I was like, that's not solid. You know, it's not going to come
Yeah.
out in June.
That
So,
was really maddening.
yeah.
Now that I see it, I'm like, I remember feeling, you know,
Right.
slighted. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, and then we mentioned that they were playing the Spider-Man video game.
There
at
we
one
go.
point. And then I said this earlier. The runtime of 2 hours and 20 minutes is the longest American animated film to date, passing the previous record holder, which was Consuming Spirits, 4 minutes.
Do you think the next one will be longer?
Should
be weird if it
should
isn't.
be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they only really had to wrap up like him saving his dad. So
Exactly. So it could be brief. But
it's got to be more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's got to be around the 2:20 mark. I'll say that. I don't care if it's like, 2:15, but okay, I'll be mad if it's like an hour 40. I'll say that. Make us wait. Like, why don't you just make it 4 hours?
Yeah.
Like Killers of the Flower Moon.
right? Seriously. But yeah, they couldn't have cut any fat from this. I was about to say, and if they're going to make it 4 hours, they could just wrap it all up in 3. But
Yeah.
I mean, there was no fluff in this movie that they could have cut through. I don't think.
No, definitely not. But every time I watch the next one, I'm going to be watching this one like along with it. So it might as well be like a 4.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
So. All right. That wraps it up. This was a long one.
Yeah.
Hour 23. We had a lot to talk about though, so just blew by.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys hung in. We really, really like this movie, obviously. So we hope you did too, and hopefully this long episode is good for you.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much for listening, you film fixators. Have a nice night.
Good night.